interesting things that I found at South by Southwest was a short documentary called Born to be Mild. This documentary centered around the organization called the Dolmans Club, where each and every single one of its members were completely and utterly dull. They all had these really weird and quirky hobbies. This man's favorite hobby was collecting bricks. This one's was collecting milk bottles. And my personal favorite was a man whose favorite hobby was riding escalators. And at the end of the documentary, there was a quote that I felt like encapsulated the entire documentary that I just watched. While being interviewed, one of the members said, "Some people ask if this is a movement. I say no, because we like to stay put." With this quote in mind, I went through the rest of my global impact and policy panels at South by Southwest. One of my favorite panels was called LGBT Best Practices from Practicing Homosexuals. And this was all about advertising to the LGBT community. Many of the advertisements that they showed were really rude, very crude, and used the word gay as an insult. However, there were some advertisements that created a safe and inclusive environment for the LGBT community. My personal favorite was Honeymead. If you didn't know, Honeymead recently launched their This Is Wholesome campaign, where they followed around different families and made short documentaries about them. These short documentaries included families such as a family with whose parents were separated, so each child had two separate sets of parents. There was also a single parent family where the family just consisted of a son and his father. And lastly, there was a family with two dads. This specific commercial created a lot of negative feedback for Honeymead. And instead of letting that pull them down and making them regret their decision to make their brand a safe and inclusive environment, they decided to do something else. What they did was that they hired artists to create a masterpiece. What the artists did was that they printed and cut out each and every single negative comment that was left on that video. They rolled them up into a little piece of paper, and this is what they found. Now, Honeymead didn't want to just stop there. They wanted to include all the positive comments that they received as well. So they asked the artists to tweak the masterpiece a little bit, and this is what they found. As you can see, Honeymead didn't let this negative feedback pull them away from what they wanted their brand to stand for. They took that negative feedback and made it into something positive. They wanted to make sure that they were able to tell the LGBT community, hey, we see you, we value you, and we support you. Another one of the panels that I went to was Activism at its Best, Drive Supporters to Do More. At this panel, I was able to hear from PETA, Change.org, and DoSomething.org, which are all revolutionizing digital advocacy. What they all touched on was what made a campaign successful on their website. And what they all concluded to was one simple thing, passion. They all said that the founders of successful campaigns are all really, really passionate about their cause, and thus they posted on social media, they made a lengthy Facebook post about it, they tweeted it, they did everything they could to just let everyone know what their cause was about. And in turn, that passion motivated others and inspired others to act as well. One of the highlight of my South by Southwest experience was a keynote by Ava DuVernay. If you didn't know, Ava DuVernay is the director of the critically acclaimed film Selma, the movie about MLK and the civil rights movement. So she started off her keynote by saying, what is the intention behind your attention? She then went on to say that her main focus was just serving the story. She wanted to leave behind the dreams of awards and Oscars and all that kind of stuff, and she really wanted to just serve the story and tell it the best way she could. She then went on to say that she took on this project because of her dad. She said that her dad was actually in Selma during the civil rights movement, and she wanted to take on this project as a tribute to him to make sure that she was able to tell his story. What came from that was, as you all know, was a great and wonderful film that was really a light in the darkness of oppression and prejudice then and even now. She then ended her keynote by saying a quote that I know that will follow me throughout the rest of my advocacy career. And it was, "If your dream only includes you, it's not big enough." I know it's really hard to kind of step back and look at the world. We're always constantly consumed by deadlines and commitments and our own relationships, that it's really hard for us to kind of just sit and just look at the world around us and see that just by merely living, we are given an opportunity to change the world. So what I urge you to do is this: shatter stereotypes, speak up for what's wrong. Do not be afraid to create an inconvenience. And remember, don't stay put, because if you do, you will be completely and utterly dull. Thank you.